Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. When it's coming on your time, you're me asking older. I know you talking real crazy, say that shit sober, yeah.
Hey man, say man, today man, first of all, I gotta say that, all my videos are protected by the Fair Use Act. They are for educational and entertainment purposes only. You hear me? Man, today I want to talk about the young Dolph case. That man, Flipper. That man, Flipper, the real king of Memphis. I want to talk about that murder case and just the whole case itself evolving around that man, young Dolph. Y'all know that this month, September the 23rd, kicks off the trial, the long-awaited trial of the murder of Adolph Thornton Jr., man, that man, young Dolph. And he was killed November the 17th, 2021. And, ever since, man, Memphis has been feeling the effects. The world has been feeling the effects. But, really, it's been a dark cloud over Memphis ever since, man. Just like I told y'all in the video about Matt Critter and Lil Double O, when a head is taken down, man, when the glue is taken down, man, things unravel. People start jockeying for position and power. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, in the case of young Dolph, it was no different. You know what I'm saying? That boy Dolph had a long-standing feud with CMG, more specifically at man Yo Gotti. This goes back a while, from the beginning of young Dolph's career, man. He allegedly had knocked down that boy Yo Gotti's baby mama, and it created a beef between these two gentlemen who already was from opposing sides. Gotti had tried to sign young Dolph, and young Dolph said he had too much money coming in. He could work with somebody who, he really didn't have respect for. You know what I'm saying? Seeing him treat his artist a certain way, talking about his artist a certain way, and that boy Dolph ain't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? So they had a long feud that lasted for, until Dolph's demise. And it was 3 other attempts on his life, other than the one that happened on November the 17th. Them attempts on his life happened at the CIAA in Charlotte. It was 2 instances in Charlotte, one of them being just a fight, some stuff that went on between PR and CMG. And the other instance, of course, was with the shooting the 100 shots when they shot that boy young Dolph's Sprinter van up, bulletproof Sprinter van, I should say, 100 times, man, and didn't get through one time. He immediately took to the studio and dropped 100 shots, mocking them, missing. And that attempt on his life was tied and linked to CMG artist Black Youngster, as the car that was involved was rented by Black Youngster. And it's alleged that Black Youngster was trying to take care of the work of CMG boss Yo Gotti. This was part of his, being famous sacrifice, doing some things, taking care of somebody else's business. You know what I'm saying? So that attempt on his life, it was unsuccessful. He was also shot in LA with another run-in with CMG, and he was shot in the backside, in the butt, in that occasion, and a CMG artist was detained in that situation. The other alleged shooting attempt will happen in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's all, this is something that isn't public, but it is known throughout the music community. You know what I'm saying? Like the rap community, the trap music community. It's known that there was an attempt on his life in Atlanta, Georgia, that also was unsuccessful. But the final attempt is, they caught him in his own hometown, also the hometown of CMG, Yo Gotti, and he was gunned down at Makita's Cookie Shop on November 17th, 2021. I told y'all that, him and Yo Gotti had a long-standing beef, and immediately when Dolph died, of course, everyone pointed their finger at CMG, Since where? I mean, come on. Well, he already had 3 attempts, and all of them was allegedly from that side of the, it was from that side, the other side. So it would only be natural for you to think that, of course, this one had to be CMG also. And that's why I want to talk about, like, who's responsible for killing young Dolph? Who was responsible? Was this one group of people, one person? Was this 2 or more groups of people trying to help each other out, trying to get him out the way for the better of a whole lot of, some other people who was trying to take his place? More than just one person. This right here is a conglomerate of guys wanting to get Dolph out the way, I believe. Now, when he was shot at Makita's cookie shop, immediately we had employees, daughters of the owners. Everybody, of course, was making statements. People on the scene that was on the scene was making statements. People that was interviewed by the police was making statements. Most notably, the daughter of the owners, the girl Raven, went and she made some very contradicting statements. Several times she contradicted herself, but she also just contradicted her own mother's story about what happened and also about what her father had said. He made it seem like he didn't even know Dolph, when it's alleged that Dolph was in business with them for years. That wasn't no more than a laundromat, a way of cleaning up a little bread, you know what I'm saying? It's alleged that they've been running edibles through that bakery. And Dolph may have been the supplier. But that day, they claimed he was there to pick up cookies. Another one of his artists claimed that he was there to drop a deposit off. Brick Wolfpack said one thing. Big Moochie Grape said a whole different thing. Snoop Band said a different thing. It's a lot of stories that was contradicting each other. Makita's, the players at Makita's, the players in PRE. It's a lot of confusion about what really happened and who was involved with Dolph, But when it comes to that PRE side and the confusion, I mean, we are talking about some rappers. These guys stay out the lean, the pills, all type of other stuff, right? I wouldn't give them the amount of credit that most bloggers want to give them, claiming that they set Dolph up, took him out for their own gain. I wouldn't give them guys that much credit. I don't think they'd be able to hold them stories together like that. I believe if them guys was involved, somebody would already be in custody from that side. Now, I'm not saying that it might be one person or something that opened the back door for him. I'm not saying that, as that's possible. But there's no way it was a team effort over there, that everyone was plotting on him and they all just holding it together. I just can't see it happening. The same way that Straight Drop and all these other guys got caught up. Somebody would have got caught up if they was all involved like that. So I just don't see that happening. Now, at the same time, it is some guys who could benefit over on PIE from Dolph being about the way. Some of his artists a couple times showed disgruntledness of not being able to drop when they wanted to. I think some of them thought they was bosses and wanted to be the big boss. A couple of them. But I think that Daddy-O had one of the more enticing reasons to have Dolph out of there. Being that they both were CEOs of Paper Route. Who was really the owner of Paper Route? And I gave y'all a short where Dolph was letting it be known profoundly that he owns Paper Route. That's his. And that had came out after there was some confusion about who owned Paper Route. Was it Daddy-O? Was it Dolph? That interview was not long after that in Chicago, where he stated that it was all his. So with that being said, Was he really just, trying to put all the chiefs and Indians in order and let everybody know, look, I own it. One of the CEOs is Daddy-O. And it falls, under there. From that, artist. That's it. Because I just always had to understand that Daddy-O was a silent partner in it. My assumption of it, not really thinking too much into it. He was a silent partner type. But Dolph wanted to let it be known it was all his. So he could have been feeling some type of way about that. We talking about major money. Remember, Dolph turned down a $22 million deal that he probably didn't, he discussed with his friends and partners, but he wasn't going to let them make that decision. That was his decision because it's his record label. PRE was Young Dolph's label. But like I said, it could have been multiple people involved. Somebody from that side could have opened the back door for the other side because they had a lot to gain. A lot. For one, CMG and Endless, who was owned by Head and ex-NBA All-Star, I believe he made an All-Star team, Zach Randolph. These two guys was positioning and jockeying to be the next label up in Memphis behind CMG. And PRE was taking that spot. Now CMG and Endless, they have collaborations. Moneybagg Yo is on Endless and on CMG. So it would have been in the great interest of Endless to get Dolph out, because then that would have gave them that part, the second biggest label of the city. Because Dolph was taking off, he was overcoming CMG. He was on his way to being bigger than CMG for sure. By himself, he had the streets on lock. Also, it's alleged that, them guys over at Endless is affiliated with True La Mafia. And we know CMG affiliated with True La Mafia. And we know Dolph is affiliated with the other side. Young Mob. Those guys. Double R. That side. But back at the crime scene, man, look, we know who the shooters, alleged shooters, who are locked up are. One of them being Straight Drop, a rapper tied to True La Mafia, tied to CMG. Before he was arrested, he did a song with Big Homie G, which many believe was just part of the payment for his involvement. The other shooter, Cornelius Smith. And then Straight Drop's brother, Jamarcus Johnson, was arrested, accessory after the fact. And of course, he was ready to tell off the bat. In his phone, he had information about, there was a conversation between him and Straight Drop trying to get the money from a guy named Unc, the money for the hit. So he was helping facilitate him get the money. He was charged with accessory after the fact. I think he also took him to Indiana. I'm not sure, but I think he was the driver that took him to Indiana. Not the driver that drove off in the white Benz after the shooting. This was all after the fact. Allegedly, he may have been. I'm still wondering who the people in the car was. Teasy. Who was it? But his brother, accessory after the fact, and we know he's telling immediately. He had no charges before him other than some petty drug charges, so he ain't ready for no murder case. So he started telling immediately. And then we had the alleged mastermind, Hernandez Govan, who really was just a facilitator. He had ties directly to Big Jook. He also had ties to Dolph. Dolph used to flood him and Big Jook back in the days when CMG wasn't really popping like that, and Yo Gotti was not dealing with Jook. Even though they're brothers, he was not dealing with Jook. So that boy Dolph was dropping stuff off on them dudes, Jook and Hernandez Govan. So Hernandez Govan, the alleged mastermind, we really know he's just a facilitator, the person that was the middleman between CMG and Dolph. He knew players from both sides very well. It was easy for him to facilitate that hit, honestly. Remember, his daughter was also murdered after the Young Dolph situation while she was in Houston, down in Texas, period. And that very well could have been get back for taking out Young Dolph. Some people are alleging that it is. It still hasn't came out. They're not 100% sure. But who is Hernandez Govan really? Because he's been able to fly under the radar and be monstrous at the same time. Now, I don't know about you, but any of the street people on here can tell you that and vouch for me. I don't vouch for me or whatever you want to do, but a lot of guys, if they real monstrous and flying under the radar, come on, man, they working with the people. It's a lot of stories, I'm sure, in every city about guys who are murderers. And they never get locked up. And they also informants. Some people in the hood like to call these guys cleanup man. Cleanup men. And this is what Hernandez Govan seems to be, to me, is a cleanup man. Someone to get messes started. Then he, when caught up in them, gives the authorities the information on it. And then if he needs to clean it up by going out doing more dirt, then that's what he does. Cleanup man. And this would explain why he is, first of all, out. Now, he may be the first one out on bond, and he's the alleged mastermind. Also would explain him constantly getting in trouble, not obeying the judge's orders, doing what he wants to do, leaving the county, staying out as long as he wants to, catching new charges. That would explain why he has not been punished for those charges. Considering the severity of his charges in the Young Dolph case, you would think that anything would have him thrown back in, but it hasn't. And I'm willing to bet that he has some type of immunity going on. Now, who knows if he's going to tell on CMG, because it might be the play to say that Unc is Jook, and it may have been Jook. And now that he's out the way, it won't really affect anyone. It's like what most of these rappers are doing now. They are okay with telling on dead people, whether it's the people or not. So it could be the play to tell on Jook, to say that it was all his idea, because most of the phone conversations, text messages, none of them are gonna be for Gotti. Anything that's gonna be on Govan's end is gonna be from Jook. But like I've said, it's probably more than one person or one group. And I think it's gonna be a phone conversation between Jook and Hernandez. And I think that one name's gonna pop up that I already mentioned. It's gonna be from the side of Endless. I think that when it comes down to finding out who that man Big Unc is gonna be, it's not gonna be Jook. I don't think it's gonna be Votto. I don't think it's gonna be Gotti, Teasy. I think it's gonna be Zach Randolph. I think Zach Randolph is gonna be that Unc that is in this case. He's Big GD, been Big GD. That man been in trouble since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. He been in trouble. Came up rough and Gary. I mean, come on, I already told y'all his story. think he's going to be up. And when it comes down, that's going to be the biggest part of his case. Because with Zach Randolph, if he is pulled into it, would he not tell on Gotti if he got information about that? I believe he will. I don't think the big joke would have been the problem. I think if they catch up with Zach, he's going to be the problem. I don't think that's the type of ending he wants to his legacy. That money comes back for the hit if it comes back tied to that man Zach Randolph, I think that's going to blow the case open. I think the other players, man, they'll just go down. I think even Jook would have went down, even though him and his brother had problems before, but I think he would have went down. But I don't think Zach will. I think that's going to be a whole different story. You know, this plot on young Dolph's life was elaborate. It was elaborate. It's no, by no means, don't get it twisted, it was elaborate. Wasn't no pull-up, drive-by shooting, no. Because just consider this. Dolph fell face forward out of that window. He was laying face forward, which would imply that he was shot from behind, okay? That would imply he was shot from behind. Now, a straight drop, and Cornelius ran up on him and shot him in the front of his body. Why does the autopsy report have almost all of the confirmed holes in his bodies were entry wounds? Almost all of them that was confirmed was entry wounds, meaning the ones they couldn't figure out, they don't know if they were entry wounds or exit wounds. But most of those, and he was shot 22 times, most of those, like 12 or 13 of those that was confirmed, was in his back. They were in his back. He shot his back and falls forward. That would mean he was shot inside of that cookie shop. Not from outside of the window. He would have fell away from the window because those shots were in his back. 2 of the confirmed exit wounds in his head, his neck. They were exit wounds on his face, come out of the front. Also remember, the glass is outside of the window. Everything points to him being shot in there. That shouldn't even be up for discussion. I don't know what straight dropping them was shooting. They may have been shooting blanks, fake, but I don't know what they were shooting. Maybe that's why when it first happened, Yo Gotti was saying straight dropping would be free. He knew. But look, this is just part of one of this whole situation. We're going to dig more into it. We're going to talk more about this. Break down each one of these players and see who had the most to gain. Let's break down their stories and see who was just telling bold-faced lies and who just couldn't keep their stuff together. Because like I said, I think the dude was CMG. I mean, PRE. They was just making mistakes on their timelines. My turkey driver this day, his turkey driver that. That's just regular. That's just regular mistakes. You hear me? That's just regular mistakes. They was just making regular mistakes, being high, drunk probably. I wouldn't give them that much credit about being smart enough to hold together a lie between 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people when they click. Because I know they was questioned. But we're going to come back to this story. We're going to talk about it more since that case is coming up. And, you know, we're going to dig more into it before the courts get to it. So look, man, throwing Dolphins in the comment section. R.I.P. that man, young Dolph. R.I.P. Adolph Thornton Jr. R.I.P. Long live Flipper, man. Jump in that comment section, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk more about who all was there, who was inside her, who went out that back door and went into Family Dollar, Those are the shooters we looking for. But jump in the comment section, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, cut on that post notification, man. Like I said, throw them Dolphins in the comment section. Until next time, YouTube, one.
Talking all